and aspirin has numerous benefits on so many levels. Many people can't take an aspirin because their blood's already too thin. So it's like, it's like even the most gentle of forms of something that could, it goes and takes your headache away, but it also has a side effect. No, I do not know of any other alternative, Shira, on the planet that alters, affects, and benefits our body in so many numerous ways. I mean, the fact that your dog, your children, and yourself all are taking the same type of CBD oil, and all of you have your cannabinoids receiving it in the area that you need to receive it for your own benefit is like this little magic, It's kind of like this little miraculous magic that we all found, It's really
and
interesting, scientifically awesome.
So amazing. It is amazing.
It really
it's also
is.
important to recognize that, when we talk about, we're trying to treat now cannabinoids as if it were a traditional drug and in the traditional ways, giving it a dosage recommendation and all that. It's a little difficult to do that, and here's why. We have to remember that we are mind, body, and spirit, which is part of the reason why I make the only aromatherapy line that's infused with CBD. And I do that because I want an inside out and outside in and a mind, body, spirit, holistic system, because we are more complicated than just working in one area. We can't just treat a symptom. We've learned this. It doesn't work. We can't just take a drug to alleviate this, to fix that, to cause another problem. There is an issue sometimes with people who take ingestible forms of CBD. There's one issue with a liver enzyme, the P450, and so what I always recommend is, again, work with a practitioner, get educated, and find what works for you in a safe and healthy manner. When you do aromatherapy, of course, there's no side effect to that. When you're doing a vapable product, when you're doing an edible, you have to know the difference and the delivery methods of what's available, and then you really need to know the source material. That's of concern to me, that people are just starting to, in the green rush, as we call it, 500 new companies are coming up with products. It doesn't mean they're good products.
Wow.
And hemp oil is not the same as CBD, and all CBD is not equal, and it may not even be a full spectrum oil, which means it isn't just the CBD, but all of the cannabinoids and all of the plant enzymes and chlorophyll and all of that. So I think it's about using common sense when you're picking products for yourself and your family. I think it's about recognizing that the closer we are to using something in the form that nature created it, we're probably going to have a better fit and a better adaptation of that product than something that's been overly manipulated, either genetically or isolated. There are isolate forms of products. It just makes sense. If you eat a whole apple, you're going to get a lot better nutrition and more fiber. And if you're going to go to Jamba Juice or just buy a juice, you're just getting the sugar. You leave out the pulp. You leave out the enzymes. You leave out, similar to how we should be approaching CBD. That's my personal belief.
Right. I totally agree. I totally agree with that. And also you touched on this, and I want to touch on this because there's such a difference, and I want to talk about the differences because this is a new concept for so many people, and it's a new concept for our America when they're opening up vape stores and dispensaries and, medical cannabis and recreational cannabis and all these things. So let's talk about I don't want to speak negatively of this, but I do want to address the differences between what a vape store is versus maybe a medical cannabis store or a dispensary that offers both. Can we talk a little bit about the differences that people do not understand or may not be aware of regarding vape?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Really important distinction. In fact, the funny part is while we're chatting, I'm actually even though I'm a New Yorker, I'm here in Oakland, California at a cannabis tech conference. I'm here as a media pundit. I'll be doing interviews with other new companies, and it's my job to pay attention not just to what I'm doing as the founder and CEO of my company, but the industry itself. I feel personally responsible to know who's doing what so I can share that information and bring the best of the best in terms of quality and awareness. So I think that it is very important to understand there's a really big difference in where you're buying the products, what you think you're buying, knowing the basic research. So let's talk about, you said, vape shops versus a medical dispensary. In certain states, if you have a program and you qualify for a program and you need to know what that state rules and system is, then sure, if there's a reason for you to have a medical cannabis card, then there's definitely no reason not to. And I would hope that you'd be working with a good practitioner who can follow you, who can really figure out what is right for you. And I also think that using my products are hemp, and they are not medical quality. They're more lifestyle, holistic supplement products. Our body butter, our aromatherapy, and our tinctures. And that's a yes and conversation. That means you can take things like you take a probiotic and you take a good multivitamin and you should have your CBD every day. But you don't go to a vape store or a smoke shop for a tincture, because those tinctures aren't designed to be ingested and absorbed. Those are designed to be something you would put in a product to smoke. They have chemical additives. They are not usually full spectrum, or they may not be clean. Something I would love for people to remember when you're considering any product is that hemp and cannabis, but especially hemp, they are what's called remediation plants. That means that in an area where there's a natural disaster like Chernobyl, people plant hemp to absorb all of the pesticides, toxins, mold, or any yucky, disgusting, nasty stuff you'd never want. It soaks it out through the root system, which is, by the way, our best chance at saving the planet is to plant hemp, to use it for superconductors, to replace plastic, building materials, hempcrete. You know, we really, really can actually save this planet with hemp. So I'm a big, activist and advocate on that. But that also means
a great show. I've got the expanded consciousness and saving the planet all in one show. What a fantastic show.
That's right. We can do this. But here's what you want to remember. That means that if you don't really know the company, like I speak for my company and I speak for other companies because I'm a real person who really uses this, who has done years and years of research and testing, and I know this industry inside out. They consider me one of the elder women in it, which I think is kind of interesting because I don't think I look that old, but it means that I was one of the first people.
I don't either, Shira, and I would be highly
insulted. I love it. They call me the Canna Godmother and the Canna Cancer and the Pop Mom and all these really fun names. But what that means is
Mom,
that
I can handle. Yeah, I mean,
Mom,
once you're a mom forever.
Exactly. But I want people to know that if you're taking a product, and if let's say it's a newer company, or let's say that the land or the farm they're growing is newer, it takes a couple of generations to heal out that soil, and you might be taking in some of what that root system has absorbed. You must be very mindful about that, because pesticides, solvent residue, toxins, volatile compounds, that can all be part of the plant, which means it might all come up and be extracted into what you're putting into you and your family's brain and body. That's of concern to me too. Again, it goes to the industry standards, testing, safety, protocols, awareness, education. It's all part of that.
Now, do growers or do dispensaries acknowledge that, or inform you on that, let you know if this is an organically grown product, or do they let you know if there's been, I imagine, there's a level of honesty or a level of integrity somewhere?
For some of us, absolutely. We're the gatekeepers, and for others, absolutely not. And that's my issue. There's a really big range. There are companies that are rushing in and rushing to market, and they just pop up, and you're like, hi. And I went to an expo a few weeks ago in Anaheim. I was speaking on 3 different panels, medical and compounding and all kinds of things, patient perspectives. And what I found was I would ask a rep of a really beautiful setup booth with great-looking products and gummies and stuff that the kids would, yummy, yummy, yummy. Who wouldn't want a little edible, right, with a gummy bear? But it has corn syrup and Red 40 and chemicals and this and that. And, let's be wise about this. Just because it looks good doesn't mean it is. And when a company can't answer my most basic questions of where is your material sourced, where are you getting your biomass from, and they look at me like I've just spoken to them in a foreign language they've never heard before, that's of concern to me. So I smile. I thank them for caring and wanting to do right. And then I encourage them to read my book themselves And it's very funny to me when I work at a wellness event and other companies come up and say, oh, my gosh, you wrote that book. And they use the book to try to educate their own consumers, but they themselves don't know the conversation. They're not fully invested in it. They're reps or they're newbies in a way. And it's great that there's such a zealousness for it, but I need the authenticity and integrity and intelligence and compassion to be underneath that. Otherwise, I have no interest. So I guess the short version is, yes, companies should really be doing this for the right reasons and the right ways, and not all of them are, which means you really need to trust where you're getting your material from. If it makes a medical claim, if it's something you see online that says, we cure cancer, we heal this, we fix that, walk away. We're not legally allowed to make medical claims. We're not.
It's amazing, the greed factor when something comes on the market and it's a benefit, and then all of a sudden you get this slew of energies that, are mixed. You've got those with integrity and you've got those ready to make a buck, and it's a mishmash of reliabilities and unreliabilities, both in product and service. So, folks,
absolutely.
Shira Adler, folks. She's the expert. She's the book you need to read, ABCs of CBD. And she's she's at all these functions, getting all the latest of information to bring to you and to advocate for our health and well-being. Shira, this is just so incredible. You're such an incredible lady. I give you such kudos and support, and if there's anything at all I can ever do to support you, please let me know. But let's direct everybody, while we've got some minutes here, to how they can find you, find your book, find information. I know there's a lot of organizations that are online that people can find information on, like Normal, and you've got the cannabis. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I so appreciate that. To me, I like to tell people, when you are really interested in this, then you must understand, I ask and invite you to become, whether you are an inadvertent activist, I'm asking for you to be a conscious one. Be an advocate, be an activist, join the organizations. I'm a member of many. Hemp Industries Association is a trade organization to promote hemp. And Normal is the national organization for the reform of marijuana laws. There are also minority groups. I'm doing some interviews today with a few wonderful groups. I speak on education and advocacy programs. I'll be speaking with Governor Cuomo as part of our Westchester County listening session. New York is about to hopefully legalize. I'll be a parent advocate and speaker for that with Drug Policy Alliance.
Nice.
There are lots and lots of good groups out there who are really trying to come together to affect change, to be the thought leaders and the change makers. And I'm honored to be a part of that group. You can always find me directly on my website, which is shiraadler.com. And also, I'm here in Northern California. I'm wrapping up a book tour, actually, so I will still be in Carmel by the Sea on Saturday, and then Mountain View, California. And my book and all that information, I think you can find on shiraadler.com or on social at the one Shira Adler, THE, the number one, and my name. And my publisher is valposabooks.com, and that's VALPOSA books, all one word, .com. So all my events that I do are posted there as well. And the book is the ABCs of CBD, the essential guide for parents and regular folks too. It's got a bright pink, millennial pink cover, and the subtitle is Why Pot is Not What We Were Taught. And so I'm very, very grateful and honored, Lisa, to know you and to have been on the show. And anybody who needs to find me, reach out and let's connect.
Oh, Shira, you've been just such a wonderful guest. I've loved having you today. Thank you so much for educating my audience and me and understanding all of what we can do to help make our world better and our lives and our health better. And thank you. Everybody, shiraadler.com, and the book is The ABCs of CBD. And it's an incredible book. It's informative. It gives you all the information you're going to know and any question you could possibly want to ask. So, Shira, God bless you. Thank you so much for coming on Unlimited Realities. And please keep me posted. I love connecting with you. Let me know how I can support you in any way.
I will. I'll send you some more aromatherapy. Everybody, I forgot to say shirasynergy.com.
Oh, yes, please. Let me take the last minute to let me pump out you. She sent me this gift, audience. It's an incredible gift. She makes this gift. You need to go to her website and buy her substance, her products. It's incredible. It's this little spray. It makes you feel so wonderful and lighthearted. Yes, do it. Thank you, Shira. God bless you, and thank you for my gift. Thank you for my gift.